Hey guys, and I'm going to talk about the last episode of The Mandalorian, the latest one, because we have one more coming next week, but the one from yesterday. But the first thing I'm going to say is, yes, last week's episode was indeed trash. Like it literally did not make sense whatsoever, and those two new weird characters, like one played by Christopher Lloyd and the other one, the female one, played by whoever, I don't know. They were so weird and like they didn't fit into the Star Wars universe at all. Like I was literally felt like I was watching some Star Wars parody sitcom or something. Yeah. So yes, last week's episode was indeed trash, and I'm not surprised it turned away so many people off. But yesterday's episode was a huge improvement. But did I love it? Yes and no, because there are parts of the episode I just outright loved, but then there are parts of the episode that really got on my nerves and made me cringe. And what was it? I will tell you. First, I'm glad Moff Gideon is back, because Moff Gideon was a really amazing villain, and I thought he was excellent in the first two seasons, and like the guy, I believe his last name is Esposito, does an amazing job at playing him. Like his performance as Moff Gideon is excellent. So I was really glad Moff Gideon is back, and his Dark Trooper armor in the end of the episode that he wore just looked awesome. So yes, I'm really happy Moff Gideon is back. And then he also gathered a council of various Imperial warlords from the Empire. And that's where the mixed bag comes in, because I love the council overall, and there's one character I was more than overjoyed to see, and then there was another character that I admittedly cringed at. And the character I was super happy to see and the character I loved and was overjoyed to see was this Imperial officer Gilead Pelayan. Apparently, he's the guy from the old expanded universe and was prominent in Heir to the Empire, which is why I'm so happy he was in, because I'm one of those people that loves the old expanded universe, even though I'm not quite well versed in it as many other people are, and I haven't sadly read the Heir to the Empire trilogy, which seems to be a fan favorite and most popular story. Maybe I should read it someday, because yes, this seems to be literally the most popular story in the old expanded universe, and it does seem really awesome. So I was really happy to see Gilead Pelion, even though I barely know anything about him, but being from character from old expanded universe just simply is enough to make me happy. But then I cringe at Brendel Hawks. Like I'm really hoping they're not going to reference the sequel trilogy, although sadly now it seems almost likely that sadly those live-action Star Wars shows will likely lead up into the sequel trilogy, especially that the Project Necromancer. Like, necromancers are those type of dark wizards in fantasy that are able to raise people from the dead. So I'm very much scared that this Project Necromancer very much leads to the resurrection of the Emperor in Rise of Skywalker, which I'm really hoping should not be referenced here at all, because the resurrection of the Emperor was the number one thing that pissed me off about the sequels. There were other things too, but resurrection of the Emperor takes the cake. Like, he should stay dead at the end of the Return of the Jedi. So yeah, I cringe at the Project Necromancer, and I'm still clinging on to likely false hope that Project Necromancer means something else. Or even if it means that, well, at least maybe they won't make it too explicit in the following episode and in other shows. But oh well, I don't know what to tell you. Chances are sadly high that they will in fact reveal it. And then what I also loved is how they talked about Grand Admiral Thrawn and how he's their biggest hope. Because honestly, I loved Admiral Thrawn back in Rebels. Again, I talked about it yesterday in my Ahsoka trailer discussion, and I already said how in Heir to the Empire, like apparently I heard Thrawn was a lot more competent and much more powerful, and apparently fans of Heir to the Empire were not thrilled with the way he was portrayed in Rebels, but again, I think it was largely because of the limitations of the show, but who knows? Maybe in those live action universe, especially we know Thrawn is coming back in Ahsoka, maybe in that live action, in those live action shows in Mandoverse, maybe they are going to actually make him competent and use him to his full potential. Who knows? But then again, think how they butchered a lot of the other characters, so I won't be surprised if again he's not as competent. But fingers crossed, Grand Admiral Thrawn will finally be used to his full potential. Because I said he was amazing in Rebels, and the Heir of the Empire incarnation sounds even more awesome. So fingers crossed that they will finally use Grand Admiral Thrawn to his full potential. And honestly, I'm even hoping that Moff Gideon, as awesome as he is, gets finally permanently killed next episode, and then Thrawn takes over for Ahsoka show, of course. So yeah, and then I also love the story about the unity of the Mandalorian clans. That was pretty interesting. And then the ending of the episode was kind of sad and emotional, but then also the appearance of the Red Guards, which I know many other people didn't like because that even further shows they're going to tie into the sequel trilogy. But somehow I didn't mind the Red Guards, maybe because admittedly the Red Guards and the fight with them in Last Jedi was literally the only scene in the sequel trilogy that I really liked. Yeah. The fight with the Red Guards in The Last Jedi was pretty awesome, and I love the way the Red Guards are designed, so I guess that's why I didn't mind the Red Guards as much as some other people seem to. Another thing I liked about the episode is that I'm glad they revealed Elia Kane from episode 3 of The Mandalorian, like of the season 3 of The Mandalorian, is revealed to be a villain all along, works for Moff Gideon. Which I'm really happy. It shows that she was not a useless character I initially thought she was. Plus, I didn't like her character either, so yeah, I'm glad they made her evil. And finally, I'm going to address the problem that many people seem to have with this season 3 of The Mandalorian in general. While I do think this season, until this was very much a step down from the previous 2 seasons, I mean, with the exception of this episode, even though, you know, this episode is a mixed bag for me, but yeah, the problem that people seem to have is that in general, in The Mandalorian, seem to be sidelined in favor of other characters, the Mandalorians, and Dave Filoni even said that this is now about the Mandalorians as a whole, not about him. Many people seem to have a problem with that, but honestly, I don't. Because honestly, I actually think it works better this way, because I was never a very huge fan of his character in the first place. Like, I don't know, I always thought The Mandalorian that the main star of the show was Grogu, the Baby Yoda, of course, and some other supporting characters. Like, I loved Cara Dune, Gina Carano's character. I miss her so much. And I also loved Griff Karga, kind of. And I loved... I love all the other characters. Ironically, Din Djarin was actually my least favorite character in the entire show, even though he's supposedly the main character. So, yeah, I don't really mind him being sidelined all that much, because at the end of the day, I don't think he was that great of a character in the first place. So, I personally have no problems with that, although some people do seem to. And one more thing I liked. I thought Grogu Baby Yoda looked really cute in the IG-11 robot when they put him inside the mech. That was admittedly pretty cute, and his behavior was too. Like, I have to say it, Baby Yoda reminds me of my baby 1-year-old nephew, whom I love, by the way. Yeah, I love my nephew with all my heart, and Grogu somewhat reminds me of him, actually. Yeah, and the fun fact, I even got a stuffed Grogu for my nephew, and he really seemed to like him. So overall, the latest episode of The Mandalorian was, if it wasn't for all the sequel references, I would go as far as say this episode was great. But sadly, the obvious references to the sequel trilogy at this point, and the fact that it's almost clear now they're trying to tie the whole show into the sequel trilogy, that's what very much takes away a few points from this episode. We'll see how it goes further. So as I said, in the end of the day, like, the episode will be great, but the sequel trilogy references very much hold it back, very much. So those are my thoughts on the yesterday's episode of The Mandalorian, and we'll see where the finale goes. So, thank you guys for checking out this video. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you soon, bye!